Hello and welcome to Chapter 2, Module 3. Time is flying and we're moving right along through the class. For this Module 3, we're going to spend 2 weeks covering Chapter 2. I like to do that because in the first week we're going to kind of start laying the groundwork, and then the second week we'll get more deeply into the subject matter. So for some of the chapters in class, we will just do one chapter a week. Some of them we'll do spread out over two. Last week in Module number 2, the goals for that were a bit of career exploration and then having you think about how whatever career it is you're pursuing relates to communication, and also kind of an introduction to this field. About half the students in the class are declared as comm majors, so you may have taken other comm classes and that chapter 1 just might have been all review. But the other half of you, this is probably your first communication class, so hopefully now you have a feel, kind of a grasp for what the field is and some of the key definitional terms. This week, we're going to start talking about the other part of the class title. It's called Communication Theory. So we're going to focus on the theory part. What is a theory? How do you make theories? Why do theories change? And then we'll learn about research methodologies that people use to investigate theories. And also specifically in communication, but most of the material in Chapter 2 really applies to any kind of academic field on how you can do research in all these different fields. And we're also going to have an assignment where you have to research and find a scholarly article, and that will help introduce you to the DVC library databases. So I'm excited about this week. Actually, all of Module 3, when we're going to cover this over 2 weeks, is pretty exciting. The quiz for Chapter 2 is not an assignment for this first week. It'll be an assignment for the second week, so don't freak out about that. And the assignments that we do in the first week will then carry over and be expanded on in the second week. For this first week, there are two videos up for you to watch besides this one, so I guess 3 videos. The first is a video that I made about what is a theory, and the video really abruptly stops at 15 minutes because, why, is I didn't realize that Screencast-O-Matic free, which is what I use because I'm too cheap to pay for the expensive one, only lets you make 15-minute videos and then it cuts you off. So that video ends abruptly at 15 minutes, but it ends at a fine place actually, so I just let it be. So don't think that's weird. Then there is a video about Aristotle and a little bit about the classical roots of communication, and I'd like you to watch the first 6 minutes of that. It helps tie in with the beginning of Chapter 2 where it talks about the classical roots of the field. Read at least the first half of Chapter 2, and if you have time, go ahead and read the whole thing because you'll need to do so next week. Then the 2 primary assignments for the week are, we're going to do a group discussion board with everybody doing it on types of research, and that's due on Tuesday. And then we're going to do replies to that, which is due on Friday. Everybody has been assigned a different research method. If you look in the module, there's a point where there's a posting that says Module 3 Groups and Assignments. When you open that up, you'll see your name on there and what assignment you have. There are 7 different research methodologies covered in Chapter 2. Everyone's assigned one of those. And you're going to research on what your one is, and then write about that in the discussion board on module for number 4, and then you'll do replies to that for number 5. And this is a whole class discussion board, but I've got you broken into different pieces, so there'll be a lot of different kinds of discussion happening there with the different research methodologies. So that's all on the discussion board. Then the 6th assignment is an individual, point 6, or Module 3 Assignment 3, as it's called, is an individual writing assignment that you'll do. It's worth 25 points, which is the most points of anything so far in the class. So it's a decent length essay. And what you're being assigned to do is write a paper about a scholarly article you research and find that uses your methodology. So you are assigned, say for example, to do ethnography as one of the 7. You're going to write about that on Tuesday on the discussion board. And then for Friday, you're going to research on that method and then write a paper about an article that uses that method. And you're going to use the DVC library webpage to search for an article, read the article, and then write about the article. And I'm just going to take a second or two here and show you just a little bit about what I mean when I say that. If you go to the DVC Library webpage and click on Library, then this link right here, Find Articles and More, brings you to this page. These are all of the different databases that you have access to as a DVC student. The first time you log in, it's going to probably ask you for, to one of them, it'll ask you for your name and your ID, like I'm doing right now. Let's see if it asks me. I was just in here, so it remembered me. But it'll ask you, and you just type in your student ID number. And this is the page that comes up when you click on EBSCOhost, Academic Search Premier. It's just the top one. It's easy. That's the one I recommend you start with and use. So click here under Academic Search Premier. It's under popular, it's the most popular, and it's very comprehensive. You'll see that it looks really like a Google box. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Now, let's say that you are assigned to ethnography. Now, remember, there are 7 different ones. You'll have to look at the list to see which one you're assigned to. If I type in ethnography, it also gives you all these different ideas down here that could help you. But let's just start right now with just very broadly ethnography and see what happens. Well, what happens is I've received 3,610 articles. So that's a lot of articles. Maybe I would like to narrow this down a little bit and look at ethnography methodology, because that pops up as an option. And do a search, and now I'm down to 327 articles. For this assignment, you need to click on this button over here to limit it just down to scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Now I'm down to 320. That's reasonable. What you need to do then is pick one. Read through the list, pick something that sounds interesting to you. There's no right or wrong answer. Let's just kind of see what we have here for ethnography. This is about health research. If you're interested in the allied health field, that might be interesting. Art therapy, okay, so that's cool. Nursing, health disparity. Here's one, decolonizing ethnography in the field, about anthropology. That might be really interesting. Oh, this one looks cool. The ethnography of resistance, activist engagement in the 21st century. Let's pick that one. Pick one. Something that's related to a field or that you're into, or just whatever it is that seems interesting to you. So this is an article that was published in the journal History and Anthropology. And here's the abstract about it, which will kind of give you a little summary of what it's about. And then if you want to read the article, you can click here and download the PDF full text. That'll give you the article, and then you read it. After you read the article, there are a few questions that you're going to write about. One of them is to summarize what the article says. And by summarize, I mean write in your own words, not just copy and paste this abstract, because I could read that myself. So read the article and summarize what it says. Then write about the methodology, because that's what this is all about, is learning an example, seeing an example of one of these 7 methodologies. So this ethnography, how was it done? Was it effective? Was it a good method to use? What were the pros and cons of that method, etc.? So you're going to write about those things, and that's an essay that you're going to post it's an assignment, so you'll just send it to me. It's not going to actually be in a discussion board. Part of the assignment then is to have a proper citation of your article in either APA or MLA formatting. I don't care which one. And here's the cool thing. If you are not already familiar with the things on this side, the tools, take a few minutes and learn these tools. If you click on this one right here, Cite, look, it pulls up the citation format in all of these different formats. I bet you didn't know there were that many, for how to properly cite an article. Let's say you want to use MLA. MLA is fine, or APA. You can use either of those for this class. Let's say I want to use APA. Here's what you do. You take your cursor, you go like this, you click copy, and then you click paste into your essay. And you have it properly cited and ready to go when you turn it in. You also can save this to a folder. You can print it off. You can email it. You could save it electronically, which is probably what I would do. Or maybe look at the full text first, and then you can save it from there too. It's really a neat thing, and if you have not been using that citation button yet, you're going to really enjoy that, because it's going to make your life easier. Okay, so that's the assignment. You're going to find an article based on your methodology, whatever it is. Everybody's going to have, there are 7 of them, and you can see which one you have. Then you are going to write the individual paper about it and answer the questions that are in answer the questions that are all in the assignment for you. And then next week, we're going to move on and talk about, we're going to take the work that you've done this week and add it on and keep working on it. And we'll be doing more things related to your methodology. So hopefully by the end of 2 weeks, you'll not only really understand yours, but you'll also understand other ones that the other 6 groups were working on as well. So for this week, your group does not have to do any coordination together. Next week, though, your group is going to have to work together on what your method is. For now, that's just how I've broken it out for assignments, and then we'll move on to actually a group project next week. But you won't be assigned that until next week. All right, so I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, please at any time feel free to email me, contact me. You can use that phone number or text number that's on the front of the syllabus anytime, except not too late at night because I go to bed. But feel free to call or text if you ever need to. And if you ever want to meet face-to-face, I am on the DVC Pleasant Hill campus several times a week and would be happy to do that as well. If you're not located close to Pleasant Hill, which I know a lot of you aren't in this class, somebody's in Stockton, we've got somebody in Chicago, we've got somebody down south somewhere. I'd be happy to do a Zoom video conference or FaceTime. I use Apple products, but we could Zoom or we could FaceTime or whatever it is if you want to talk about any of the material. Okay, so good job so far. I'm glad that you are still with it and making progress. And I hope that you enjoy learning about research methodologies this week and next.